Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This lecture is of the subject Real Analysis 1. The lecture resumes from February 2020 lecture series for the students of BS Part 3 and MSc Previous for the subject of Real Analysis 1. This lecture is a review of our previous class lectures. We are going to see what we had discussed before learning new concepts. We were talking about the sets, so I'll be giving you a little bit overview of the sets what we had discussed. If an element x in a set A, we write x is an element of set A in this notation and say that x is a member of A, or we can say for this notation that x belongs to A. If x is not in A, we write this notation x does not belong to A. If every element of a set A also belongs to a set B, we say that A is a subset of B and write this notation A is subset of B, or this notation A is subset of B. We say that a set A is a proper subset of a set B if A is subset of B from this, but there is at least one element of B that is not in A. In this case, we sometimes write this notation A is a proper subset of B. It means there is at least one element in B that is not in A, and all the elements of A are in B. Examples of sets are natural numbers, integer numbers, rational numbers, real numbers. And in real analysis subject, we will be focusing on sets of natural numbers and real numbers. Set operations, you know very well already, but I need to give you an idea. The union of sets A and B is the set A union B, x such that x belongs to A or x belongs to B, and the intersection of the sets A and B is the set x such that x belongs to A and x belongs to B. So here or and B differentiate between the union and the intersection. The complement of B relative to A is the set A complement B x such that x belongs to A and x does not belong to B. The set that has no elements is called empty set and is denoted by the symbol this. Two sets, this is empty set symbol phi or phi. Two sets A and B are said to be disjoint if they have no elements in common. This can be expressed by writing their intersection is an empty set. A intersection B is equal to empty set. Functions. Yes, we need to redefine functions, or we need to review again these functions so that we may have a fresh idea about the functions. Let A and B sets, then a function from A to B is a set of ordered pairs A cross B such that for each A belongs to A, there exists a unique B belongs to B, AB belongs to F. In other words, if AB is in F or belongs to F and AB dash belongs to F, then the value of this B is equal to this, because at one input there cannot be two different outputs. So if A is input, B is output. That is why in function there cannot be two different outputs, so the value of B is equal to B dash. The set A of first elements of a function f is called the domain of f and is often denoted by d of f. The set of all second elements in f is called the range of f and is often uh, denoted by R of f. Note that although d of f is equal to a, we only have the range of the function as a subset of b. The essential condition that a b belongs to f and a b dash belongs to f implies that b is equal to b dash, as we discussed here. The notation of the function is if a in maps a into b. So this notation is often used to indicate that f is function from a into b. We will also say that f is a mapping from a into b, or that f maps a into b. If a comma b is any element in f, it is customary to say write b is equal to f of a, or sometimes this notation. Mathematical induction, we had discussed also about mathematical inductions, and before that we had discussed the well ordering property of natural numbers. So let's have a look. Every non-empty, what is the well ordering property of n? Every non-empty subset of n natural numbers has a least element. Every non-empty subset of natural numbers has a least element. A more detailed statement of this property is as follows: if S is a subset of n and if S is not an empty set, then there exists M belongs to S such that M is less than or equal to K for all K belongs to S. On the basis of the well ordering property, we shall derive a version of the principle of mathematical induction that is expressed in terms of subsets of n. What is the principle of mathematical induction? We had discussed, so you can revise it, that let S be a subset of natural numbers that possesses the two properties. The number 1 belongs to S. For every k belongs to natural numbers, if k belongs to S, then k plus 1 belongs to S. Then we write the subset S is equal to the set of natural numbers. Order properties of R, I had discussed about the order properties of R and their proofs. Let me have a review of these now. The order properties of R, there is a non-empty subset P of R called the set of positive real numbers that satisfies the following properties. If AB belongs to P set, then A plus B belongs to P. If AB belongs to P, then AB belongs to P. If A belongs to R, then exactly one of the following holds. A belongs to P, A is equal to 0 minus A belongs to P. And we had also discussed about some important inequalities. Let A is greater than or equal to 0 and B is greater than or equal to 0, then following implications happen. A is less than B implies that A square is less than B square, square root A is less than square root B. If A and B are positive real numbers, then their arithmetic mean is 1 upon 2 A plus B and their geometric mean is square root AB. The arithmetic geometric mean inequality for AB is square root AB is less than or equal to 1 over 2 into A plus B. And there was also an important inequality, Bernoulli's inequality. If x is greater than minus 1, then 1 plus x is power n is greater than or equal to 1 plus nx for all n belongs to n. And also the triangle inequality in absolute values. So the absolute value of a plus b is less than or equal to absolute value of a plus absolute value of b. Next. And we had also discussed about the suprema and infima. So let's have a look again. Definition: let S be a non-empty subset of R. Let S be a non-empty subset of R. The set S is said to be bounded above if there exists a number U belongs to R such that S is less than or equal to U for all S belongs to S. Each such number U is called upper bound of S. You can remember, yeah. The set S is said to be bounded below if there exists a number W belongs to R such that W is less than or equal to S for all S belongs to S. Each such number W is called a lower bound of S. A set is said to be bounded if it is both bounded above and bounded below. A set is said to be unbounded if it is not bounded. Alright. The other definitions about the suprema and infima we studied, and let's have a look again. Definition: let S be a non-empty subset of R. If S is bounded above, then a number U is said to be supremum, or this is called least upper bound of S if it satisfies the conditions U is an upper bound of S, and if V is any upper bound of S, then U is less than or equal to V, and that is why this is least upper bound. And greatest lower bound or infimum: if S is bounded below, then a number W is said to be an infimum or greatest lower bound of S if it satisfies the conditions. Condition 1, W is lower bound of S, and if T is any lower bound of S, then the value of T is less than or equal to that lower bound W. And the completeness property of R: every non-empty set of real numbers that has an upper bound also has a supremum in R. Remember, completeness property of R: every non-empty set of real numbers that has an upper bound also has a supremum in R. And the Archimedean property: if X belongs to R, then there exists Nx belongs to natural numbers such that X is less than or equal to Nx. In this, every real number is less than some natural number, yeah. And the last topic we discussed the sequences and their limits. So let's have a look. Definition: a sequence of real numbers or a sequence in R is a function defined on the set natural numbers whose range is contained in the set R of real numbers. A sequence be uh, can be uh, can be defined as or can be written as x, xn, xn, n belongs to n, and these are some examples of the you can say the sequence: 1 upon 2, 1 upon 4, 1 upon 6, 1 upon 8, and this is on this 1 upon 2n. So this was the review what we had discussed, and in the next lecture we'll be starting from our topic that we had to cover. So thank you so much for this.